So when I said I'd be back in a week, that didn't really work out. So I still have a YouTube channel, apparently. Did you know this? I was not aware until very recently when I remembered that this is a thing, that football's a thing, and I was like, hey, maybe I should post on that thing where the people watch me and it's awesome and all of that. Probably last saw me when we picked up Milton Williams, and I was all like, yay. I did no coverage of the draft. I told you that I was going to be posting like a really long time ago, and then I didn't. So we're back.
But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
And welcome back to the show with no name, the show that had a name and lost a name, and then it became named the show with no name, and we're just gonna stick with that name because I am too lazy to find a name, and we're just gonna pretend that I did it ironically. It has been about 2 months since I have seen you guys, and that is kind of on you.
What?
Football season is fast approaching, which means that we are back, and we are not better than ever. I am probably really rusty, but there are things to talk about with the Patriots. This is still the time of year where the next 3 months, teams like us, what we have been post Tom Brady, Tommy, is a team that gets to delusionally believe that we're going to get better this year from about the beginning of free agency until week 1. And then we have to see ourselves play. So right now we are in the middle of the Patriots season. That's why I've been so busy. And yeah, I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to enjoy it while we can, because reality is going to hit. But for right now, we get to enjoy it. And then fan bases like that of the Chiefs and what we used to be, fan bases like the Ravens, the Eagles, the Bills, now Washington, they all get to legitimately look forward to winter. They get to enjoy all of autumn, and I get to commentate on it. But for right now, we can stick to the Pats, because that is what I'm here for. That might be what you're here for, and we can share our delusion together. So, when I last spoke to you guys, the big thing in the headlines, and this really does go to show you how long it has been, was that we had acquired guys like Milton Williams, Carlton Davis, Morgan Moses. We had that big couple weeks of free agency. That video actually came out right before Stefon Diggs. Guys, we got Stefon f***ing Diggs, and I didn't make a video. Like, future Hall of Famer Stefon Diggs. Assuming that he recovers and plays well, but like I just said about the delusional thing, future Hall of Famer Stefon Diggs is going to be catching passes from Drake and me. So that's been an interesting one. There's a lot of upside and downside there that I'm sure everybody has heard talked to death about, because everybody's talking about the god Patriots, right? Everyone in here, my dog, who chose specifically not to be in frame, Alfalfa doesn't want you to look at him today. Stefon Diggs, though, I mean, obviously an elite receiver. Buffalo, when they realized what they had in Josh Allen, got Stefon Diggs from Minnesota, because Minnesota knows how to draft receivers, and nobody else other than Pittsburgh can even come close to it. We definitely don't know how to draft receivers, apparently. Please be good, Kyle Williams. Please be good. But we got him, and so far, he looks to be ahead of schedule in his recovery from the ACL. For anybody that doesn't remember, he went over to the Texans kind of to serve the same purpose that he is here to serve, which was them seeing CJ Stroud, seeing they've got, a window with this young quarterback, Let's get him an experienced wide receiver that, has a track record of excellence, and just get him into the flow of things. He was phenomenal when he played for them. I actually went to that first Drake May game when Houston whooped us and watched him in person, and he was great. And then he tore his ACL. He just ripped that knee right apart, and he is younger than me but old for football, which hurts. I believe I'm a year or two older than him, so yeah, let that sink in for everyone around my age. We now look at football players, and those children were still children when we were graduating high school. But Stefon Diggs on the Pats, if he can bounce back from that knee, I mean, it's Stefon Diggs. Maybe he loses a little bit of the pop, maybe he loses a little bit of the burst, but it is still the best talent that we've had in the building to catch the ball since Edelman left. All right, forgive me for saying it, but if he gets back to what he used to be, probably the best talent catching the ball that we've had since Gronk left. That is huge. And assuming that Drake May is our guy, and I really, really, really want to believe that he is our guy, it's the best thing we could have done for him. So, like I was saying 2-3 months ago, a long time ago, we got a defense now. We have a legit defense now, which is really, really nice. And we do have an offensive line. We'll get to the draft. And we now have a receiver room headed by Stefon Diggs. We've got a tiny little bit of depth in there with Matt Collins walking around all barefoot and whatnot. Keyshawn Boutte stepped up big time. And now we're going to see what happens with Polk and Baker under good coaches. It's all looking better on the offense there. Speaking of which, let's get into the draft a little bit, because guess what else I didn't do as a football channel? Make a single video about the draft. Sports reporter, this guy. We had a good draft, and it's never, I don't know, it's never this crazy exciting pick to go for an offensive lineman in the first round, but when your quarterback can't even get through his 3-step drop without getting hit in the head, pretty exciting to know that he might be able to get through that drop without getting hit in the head. I mean, that is the saving grace of Drake May, is how well he was performing with just a horrible line. So Campbell alone, Will Campbell, 4th overall pick, that's going to add serious stability. He was the consensus best offensive lineman in the draft. The biggest knock on this guy, after 4 years of facing the toughest division in college football, was his arm length when he got to the combine. And as another Campbell, I really relate to him. I have a big head and little arms. It just kind of runs in the family. If he's able to play at left tackle, that will be phenomenal. Worst case, he would go into guard, but I think he'll be able to play at left tackle. You think about the Max Crosbys of the world, Max Crosby's pass rushing move is literally to, go like this and distract people while he, stiff arms them. The long arm guys are a little bit scary for that kind of situation, but it's 3/4 of an inch past what the ideal arm length is for a tackle. We should be good. 4th overall pick, that is a little concerning, but who the else were we gonna get? Tet McMillan, and then make some moves and try to get Kelvin Banks or something. I'm happy with Will Campbell. Whenever you have a guy who is so single-mindedly focused on football that in his interview after the draft, he turns around and says that he is willing to fight and die for our quarterback, that is who I want.
I'm gonna fight and die to protect them with everything I got.
Listen, I gave.
I want the guy that has no life and takes this way too seriously. Because I have no life, and I take this way too seriously. So, Will Campbell gets an A grade from me. Just touching on a couple of the picks there. We did also bring in Travion Henderson as the 4th pick in the 2nd round. Great scat back kind of player. The knock that I've heard about him, not a ton. I've heard a lot of people saying that, because he played more of a depth position in college, he doesn't have the reps, he doesn't have this or that. He's more straight line speed versus having that burst. At the end of the day, we needed to improve our running back room. Ramondre Stevenson is great when he's not fumbling the game away, and I will still never forgive him for his part in that whole lateral disaster versus the Raiders.
Around me are familiar faces, worn out.
That one still hurts really bad, for the record. But when he's not fumbling the ball, and when he's not lateraling it in a tied game that would have just gone to overtime so that one of our former elite players can stiff arm Mac Jones through the surface of the earth. When he's not doing stuff like that, he's very solid, but, he's a bruiser. We got the speed now. Very, very, very time-proven combo. Having that, smash and slash. So, excited to see what he can do. And our 3rd pick, probably the last one I'll touch on here, Kyle Williams. I heard all I needed to hear when Steve Smith, who has been like a savant when it comes to predicting talent in wide receivers, that was his number 1 guy off the board. Tet McMillan was a little too N'Keal Harry-ish for me. The knock on him being that he wasn't getting enough separation, big body guy, that kind of thing. High end of things, you get a Mike Evans. Low end of things, we've been there. No thank you. Wish him the best, it's just not here. Golden, that would have been fun. Isaiah Bond is really just focusing on getting bonded out from prison. And yeah, I like where we landed with Kyle Williams. Like I said earlier in the video, our wide receiver room going into the year, Stefon Diggs, Matt Collins, Pop Douglas, Kayshon Boutte, and then we've got all these young guys to fill it out. Kyle Williams gets a shot, and then we get to see what Polk and Baker can do, because they never really got a fair shot. So now that there's an established offensive line, there's a solid running back room, we've got our QB that we want to build around, we've got a number 1 wide receiver. Hunter Henry hopefully is still going to just be Mr. Reliable. We've got our depth at wide receiver, and we've got a killer defensive line, secondary, good linebackers. We have, on paper, a really, really good team. So, I'm back, and I would love for all of you to join me on this journey as we watch how we f*** it up. And I really do mean it, guys, when I say that I'm back. So please, if you want to see more of this, like the video, hit sub if you haven't already, and stuff that we have coming up. We're going to be ranking our teams and doing it tier list style, which will be fun. Doing the same thing with head coaches and most likely quarterbacks. But just getting into some stuff like that because it's the off season and there is no football content. So we're going to do some of that. August, the live streams for the games will come back with some preseason games. We'll probably watch the first couple, gauge where we're at with it, just get back into the rhythm of live streaming. And yeah, then once football season hits, video a week, live stream a week, and we're going to be pumping out those shorts. Let me know if you guys would be interested in any MMA content. Thinking about putting some of that out there. I don't really know what you guys like because, again, I disappear. So, for now, this is me being back. I'm glad to have you here. I will be back in a week and not a month. because I did promise 3 videos in June, and it is almost not June. So you probably are going to see me sooner rather than later. We're going to come up with something, probably some kind of ranking video next. Let me know what you'd like to see. Glad to have you guys back. Glad to be back. I will see you next time here at the Unnamed Show. And you really couldn't... He's passed out on the couch. He really couldn't have come over here? We'll have my dog, too. He's pretty cute. See ya.